Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What I have to say next is perhaps one of the most important things. We have spoken of the monad and of the dyad. What precedes most generally is plurality in its infinite spectrum of dimensions and colors and forms. That is the mathematics of heaven. As the great mystic and writer Thomas Brown says in The Gardens of Cyrus, which I think is mandatory reading concerning the philosophy of art. All things began in order, so shall they end, and so shall they begin again, according to the ordainer of order and mystical mathematics of the city of heaven. All things began in the oneness of being, which is the source of all order, and they shall end being absorbed by the cycle of perpetual return to the oneness of being. And so shall they begin again, because there is an eternal rebirth, eternal generation, eternal rebirth. That cycle of the circle maps out this city of heaven. The schematic whereof is mathematics. So mathematics and art really are the same thing. And I think that the loss of mathematics from art and also the loss of art from mathematics is one of the most profound crises of modernity. In the ancient curricula, philosophies, and syllabi, not just the academic syllabi, but also the syllabi of the craftsmen and the worksmen, the syllabi of the art academies, there was a clear union of the quantitative and the qualitative. And there was a clear union of mathematics with the arts and the crafts. I think this particular work is something which is very dear to me. My first degree was actually in mathematics for this very reason, to try to bring about this repristination, to bring about this reunion. But over here, for example, we have a mathematical pattern, a fractalic pattern, and we see that geometry is art. The question is there art which is not geometric? And I think not. Remember, of course, music traditionally was considered a part of mathematics. So we have music, geometry, and therefore architecture and painting, of course. The only thing I suppose would be precluded in this classification would be the embodied arts. But then we must remember the Platonic synthesis of gymnastics with mathematics. There is the mathematics of the mind, and there is the mathematics of the body, the grammar of the body. So given that reunion of mind and matter, of the body and the mind into the single mind-body complex, that really there is no such thing as mathematics as just working on a piece of paper in class. That's a part of it, but mathematics must be embodied. One cannot truly be a geometer if he is not himself an architect. Of course, one cannot be an architect if he is not a geometer. One cannot be an athlete without being a mathematician, because athletics is number in action. It is a lived experience of proportion and harmony and music played out upon the organ of the human body. Just as we can play a musical instrument, we play the body, which is the most brilliant instrument. the greatest artifice, the most divine instrument to play this most divine music. And the body is, it is mathematics in a deep sense. I think people like Da Vinci really understood this, but I imagine really most of the ancient theorists and practitioners deeply, deeply understood this. And I imagine if there are any athletes actually listening to this, I highly suspect they would concur with me outright that what they do is a mathematics. It is a mathematics. So I suppose explaining what I have here on the slide, we began with the monad, began with the one, or what I call singularity. From that one, there is a first multiplicity, which are the forms. Remember, singularity and form, the forms of the all singularity are the most singular manifestations of that singularity. In theology, that is the language of the divine names, the divine forms. They are also called the archetypes in Plato's vocabulary, the divine archetypes, which are the essences of all things, because an essence is a singularity. The essence of a thing is that which makes the thing what it is. So if the thing is the circle, its essence is its center. The human body is a circle, which it is in a very deep sense. The point at the center is our essence. That is the heart, not just the physical heart, but I mean the spiritual heart, which is identified with the transcendental self, with the soul and the spirit. That is the essence of the human being. When the body perishes, the soul endures. So the body is not the essence of the self, because the self transcends the body, but it is that which is the thing itself, that which underlies all the forms of its manifestations. That is its essence. And so the essences of all things are rooted in the divine forms, the divine ideas, the divine names. Because if we understand art as a centering, art as a locus which centers multiplicity, but more so points beyond itself into the one, then the greatest work of art, the greatest theophany and locus of manifestation are the divine names, the forms of God. That is the meaning of the beatific vision, to gaze upon the face of God. Because art has levels. There are degrees of symbolism. You move from one plane of consciousness to another plane of consciousness. But now this infinite sequence of consciousness leads towards the singularity of that sequence, the limit of the sequence, which are these irreducible points of unity, which are the divine forms. Ultimately, every path leads unto the one. Every path leads unto the face of God. And now I say this because this is the vision of an artist. An artist must himself have clearly been seen in the sacred silence of his soul and in the dark night of his intellect. These stars of unity to have shone forth in pristine clarity. The artist works in artifice in the image of heaven. He produces a symbol which will lead one along this hierarchy, lead one through this infinite, fractalic, prismatic maze towards the hidden center, which is beneath and beyond all things. And the good artist The great artist is one who successfully can lead the mind. Therefore, there are many types of artists, of all the different mediums and forms and manifestations. There are some artists who work without any physical art. They work merely by their presence. Perhaps they are the greatest. But all artists lead beyond themselves and lead beyond the work. That is the tragedy of a consumer art, of an artist who wants to bring fame and glory to himself, wants to bring money to himself. By definition, he is not an artist, and his work is not art. And by definition, he who truly intends the face of God in his work, even if he is not acknowledged, is truly an artist. And I do believe that his works will come to light at one stage or another, for nothing is gone to waste. And I might end here with speaking about the names of God, quoting again, as I say, and in the beginning is the Word, which is also singularity. For singularity as bethought in consciousness corresponds to the word which is bespoken upon the tongue. So the word is singularity. The word is the sign which points towards its meaning, singularity. For the thing as it is bespoken is the thing as it is. The thing and his word are therefore one. That is the mystical idea in the synoptic Gospel of John, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God is one with his Word. Or in another sense, God is his name. The name is not something other than the thing. The name is the thing. And so art, the symbol, is not something other truly than the symbolized thing, but the symbol is the symbolized. The symbol is God, if truly that is what is being symbolized, the oneness of being. It is the divine, the manifestation, in a very deep, in a very real and deep way. It is a portal into the divine. And I do think Plato is the greatest teacher of this wisdom, who saw clearly the one beyond all things, but inside of all things. That one singularity which he called the archetype, what we call the name, what Aristotle called the essence, the universal. Whereas these many forms, the particulars, are manifestations of the name itself. They are the named things. To give a concrete example, there is the name of beauty. The reality of beauty is God. God is beauty itself. Now, anything, therefore, which is beautiful only insofar as it partakes in the reality of beauty. It is beautiful only insofar as it is named beautiful. That only insofar as the name beauty is in relationship to it. So a beautiful thing is a form of beauty. It is a form of this name. It is a form of God. Those, therefore, are the works of art. Works of art are the forms of God. And that, therefore, can be our definition of art after this preliminary philosophical discussion. Art is the form of God.